That's a penalty, and no man wants to pay the penalty.
That is accountability, because that's part of the reason why marriages used to last as long as they did, because there was a level of accountability that held both parties accountable.
Marriages lasted because divorce was illegal. That's why it lasted.
A level of accountability.
It has nothing to do with that. It's because they just couldn't get out. It has nothing to do with accountability, nothing. It's all about the fact that at one point in history you couldn't leave, and now you can leave.
So if that wasn't what you were saying, Clout, what were you saying? If you were saying that, because he's saying basically getting married ain't gonna make it accountability any more than if you were just boyfriend and girlfriend. So if that's not what you were saying, what were you saying, Sweeney?
All right, so what I said, and again, this is not me saying that the system that we have in place is perfect. As a matter of fact, I'm in agreement that the reason why there's a lot of men that don't want to get married right now is because the things that happen to men in the event that our marriages fail or we file for divorce is the accountability. You losing half your shit makes you think twice about wanting to get a divorce. There's a reason why women divorce at a 70% clips versus men, because I agree with you. The reason why marriages aren't lasting as long is because there is no accountability for one group. Women aren't being held accountable. Women aren't being told to stay. Women aren't being forced to stay within their marriages for a number of reasons. But if you were to balance those scales, I guarantee you would start seeing marriage rates return to the levels for which they were beforehand. Part of the reason why we don't have our marriages aren't lasting is because women are not held accountable when they get a divorce.
And that's what
that's exactly what I'm saying. If women aren't held accountable in marriage, then what's the difference with them not being married? Because guess what? Either way, they ain't getting held accountable. Either way. So y'all are making it seem like
we don't have a system of accountability in this country.
That's what I've been saying, but you the one making the claim that marriage is a system of accountability. It's not, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's not a system of accountability, which is why you just said, the women aren't held accountable. Which is why so many men are saying, "Hey, why am I into a marriage where I'm the only one going to be held accountable?" That doesn't make sense to me.
But see, that's your contradiction, Clout. Because Clout, that's the contradiction. That's the contradiction. See, what now, if you want to make an argument that it's a lopsided accountability, I think everybody can agree with that. But when you say that only the men are being held accountable, then at that point you are saying that somebody in that marriage is being held accountable. And that's what Sweeney is saying when he says men don't want to get married because the men is the only one that is.
Right.
Well, I get that point, Shannon, but I don't necessarily view that as accountability, but I do understand that point. That makes sense. That is viewed as accountability. I get that point. But to me personally, I don't view that as, I only use the term accountability because that's how Sweeney referred to it. But I don't think that's accountability. I look at that as a bad risk, like a bad penalty. Like it's not accountability to get. Hold on, hear me out. It's not accountability to get half of your stuff taken because your wife decided to leave you. There's no way that makes you a more accountable man. Also, accountability, if we're going to talk about accounting accountability is a two-way transaction. When you credit one side, you debit the other side. So there's no way you can call a system accountable when it doesn't hold both sides accountable, because then it's imbalanced. That'd be like me saying I'm balancing my check, but I'm only adding the debits and not the credits. That doesn't make any sense. Accountability is a two-way transaction. So no, if you're calling something accountability that's only on one side, that is not accountability.
Bro, that's my point.
That's a penalty, and no man wants to pay the penalty.
That is accountability, because that's part of the reason why marriages used to last as long as they did, because there was a level of accountability that held both parties accountable.
Marriages lasted because divorce was illegal. That's why it lasted.
A level of accountability.
It has nothing to do with that. It's because they just couldn't get out. It has nothing to do with accountability, nothing. It's all about the fact that at one point in history you couldn't leave, and now you can leave, and that's it.
Well, to a degree, that's a penalty too.
No fault divorce.
No fault divorce is different, but divorce is always
no fault. Literally means no accountability. No fault. No accountability divorce. That's literally what it means.
You're proving my point that when given a system where there is no accountability within a relationship,
like marriage,
people are gonna do shit any old kind of way.
Yeah, like in marriages.
And like in relationships, you think women aren't gonna leave relationships just because there's a piece of paper?
No, I think they'll leave relationships the same way they leave marriages.
It's too easy to get in and it's too easzy to get out. And nobody has respect for it.
It's just as easy to get in a relationship as a marriage.
Mean as much.
Oh, marriage is still harder to get out than relationships, bro.
No fault divorce costs $400, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
To get out. Trust me, it's easy to get in.
Definitely hard to get out.
No fault divorce in New York costs $400 if it's uncontested. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I've experienced $400, bro.
Uncontested. But how long were you married, Clout?
I was married 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. Because at that point, it's a dissolution of marriage. It's not a divorce. A divorce is not easy to get out. Even when me and my girl is like, yo, we still homies. We like me and my ex, we cool. I talked to her today. We was like, the judge was, I mean, not the judge, but the court was like, don't y'all want to fight? And we were like, no, we good. What you talking about? Well, don't you want to take something half? No. We good. The property is good. The kids is good. Everything, the house is good. They almost wanted us. It's not as easy when you're married longer than 5 years. So it's 2 years, you can get in and out. There's no big deal because there's nothing, especially if you ain't got no kids. But when it's longer and you got other shit involved, the government says, aha, I got you. You got to do this and you got to do that. So it is a little bit more difficult.
Here's another thing that a lot of people don't know about marriage. When a man has a child outside of wedlock, that child is born. When that child is born, he has no rights to, none whatsoever. The moment if he has that child within marriage, he has rights to that child automatically. In most states, I believe. I don't know. There's some states out there that's fucking weird.
And what do those rights really allow him to do? Let's be real though. Let's be real though, right? Like we could talk about him having rights to that kid, but let's be real because we live in real life. The moment that woman decides to divorce that man, how much rights does he really have, bro? Like,
way more than he had.
He got the right to file a petition at court. He got the right to go to court, right to do. Sure, we got rights. You know, we love talking about rights, but in reality, that man can't do nothing. Let's be real.
That's not true.
No. Because some things you can do, Clout. Like for instance, when you're not married, she can go up and move to fucking New York. I'm in LA, and if I was just a baby daddy, she can go wherever she want to go. Through divorce, she can't cross state lines. You can't go. Where you taking my son? At that point, it becomes kidnapping. Even when it is, okay. A ex-husband is afforded that opportunity where a baby daddy doesn't get that. She can just take that kid and go wherever the fuck she want to go and set up shop in Atlanta. Ex-wife can't just bounce like that. So it's a little bit of protections. Now here's the rub. How long do those protections stick? And how much money he got to spend to make sure they do. That's the fucked up part. Yeah, but it does still automatically give him some sort of interstate protections where she also can't, there's because you have legal custody and you have physical custody. The legal side is, let's say, for instance, the jab. Say you don't believe in the jab and she does. Say you don't believe in certain medical things to happen and she does. That has to be arbitrated through court. Whereas if you just a baby daddy, you ain't got shit to do. We don't care what you think. So you get a little bit of protections.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was this one lady who's a lawyer right here in Texas. She said, man, if y'all have a baby out of wedlock, it's no holds bar. A lot of the times, like, she can do a whole lot of shit with your kid without your consent. She don't have to think about you whatsoever. She, as a matter of fact, a lot of the
she don't even have to give you a courtesy call.
What?
She don't even have to give you a courtesy call. She can do what the fuck she want to do automatically.
What?
From the day that baby came out the womb.
But I will say this, that I do agree with Clout that I think the level of accountability that this country has taken away from dissolving your marriage is the problem. Because
I just think that you guys I think that wasn't, well, I ain't gonna say that wasn't cool. Sweeney, when Clout was basically saying, because what Humble Dad asked him, he said, do you want to have children? He was like, yeah, I want to have kids. He said, do you want to have kids in a marriage or out of a marriage? And he took a beat. Cloud took a pause and had to think about that. And he said, I'm not sure. That I'm struggling with that. And I can understand why he's struggling with that, because in his mind is, I can have everything a married couple can have in terms of bliss without getting involved, without getting Uncle Sam involved. If me and my woman is on the same accord and we cool and everything is, and we rocking with each other, maybe we buy property together, maybe we create power of attorneys together. I could do everything through legal right and get all the same. If I die, she's the beneficiary. I could set all that shit up and we live harmoniously without having the government involved, because maybe we want to break up and we don't want to have the government involved. Maybe I want to leave and she don't, but she won't be able to take all my shit. It's a lot. There's some protections in not getting married for men, particularly.
I will say this, though,
and it's almost like you guys were saying, no, you got to get the paperwork.
That's right. I'm trying
to prioritize the harmony over like the way the relationship is structured. I look at it kind of like a business, right? I don't care if the business is a partnership, a LLC, a sole proprietorship, or a corporation. Does it make money? Is the business profitable? you could tell me you got an LLC that's not making no money, then that's no better than me having a 9 to 5, right? So if you're gonna try to tell me, hey, go into business. Look, I don't care. Again, I don't care. LLC, corporation, whatever you want. But what's profitable? If I could get money and I don't have to be in a corporation, if I could be profitable and I don't have to start an LLC and I could just be a sole proprietorship, I'm taking the route that's going to make me the most money, that's going to be profitable. And I feel like the profit in this case is the harmony of the relationship. So I'm just saying, let's focus on how we can get couples to profit, to get harmonious relationships, instead of just trying to teach them that the only way to even have a relationship is to be married. Like, no, let's work on the love. Let's work on the harmony. Let's work on the balance. Let's work on being a unit. And then we could worry about the way we're going to organize this structure legally.